Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah Ba'ashim L'chakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us the truth and rule well. And Shalom to the overall elect. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah Barakatam. It's the brother Kazar from the Mid-Val 12 West Coast coming back at it again with another lesson. All right, and the topic of this lesson is going to be dealing with the children that's being kept in terrible conditions in them detention centers in the U.S.-Mexico border. All right, now this is something that's been going on for quite a while. All right, I've did a few lessons on this in the past. That's how long it's been going on. Last year, the year before, one particular lesson was where you had a man, who had AIDS, HIV, start molesting these children. All right, and he gave like 20 kids HIV, man. Because he was out there, being the devil, man. All right, but anyways, they barely want to bring this out, because it's getting too big now with all the migrants up there. It's cause for attention, but they've been doing this, putting children in very terrible conditions. Now these are so-called Latino kids. All right, these are so-called Hispanic children. All right, and these are Hebrew Israelites of the Northern Kingdom. All right, of the kingdom of Ephraim. The so-called black people are Hebrew Israelites of the kingdom of kingdom of Judah. All right, now the so-called Latinos are Hebrew Israelites. Oh, and also to the Native Americans, let's not forget them either, are Hebrew Israelites of the kingdom of Ephraim. All right, which is the Northern Kingdom, and they came over here, in a time of Solomon Nasser the king. All right, and they, it's written in the book of 2 Ezra chapter 13. I believe it's 40 on down. All right, their voyage on how they came here and what happened when they were taken to Assyria and how they decided to come down, not come down, but come to the Americas. All right, which was before it was known as America, it was known as Arsarith. Okay, but that's, another topic. I just had to shed a little bit of light on that. All right, but anyways, we got this article, Terrible Conditions for the Children. Okay, new photo shows life in Biden's border detention facility, which, they want to put the blame, it's all political, we don't get wrapped up in that, putting his name on it like he's responsible for this, like Trump wasn't up here, doing the same thing, but it was a media blockage on it, man, and that's ultimately to go and show you that this devil's house is divided against himself. All right, and this kingdom is not going to stand. Okay, so let's see. Photos from a border patrol detention tent show children held in squalid conditions. Okay, with the Biden administration keeping the press out, the photos offer a rare glimpse at the facilities once dubbed inhumane by Biden himself. All right, now, see, he's trying to keep a media blockage on this. All right, these devils are trying to keep a media blockage on this so that the northern tribes don't get roused up, and the northern tribes have been getting roused up recently, man. All right, we're dealing with, the street vendors that have been getting attacked and robbed. You had one that just got shot recently. All right, now, they're starting to get roused up. Now, when this really, really blows up, if it does happen, if the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai, all right, permits it to happen, okay, then this is gonna really, really rouse them up. You might start seeing Ephraim, start, doing his little, basically start doing his version of the BLM movement. It's gonna be a lot of confusion happening, and you're also gonna have a lot of Ephraimites, so-called Latino, so-called Native Americans that come into the truth. It's the times when the trumpet are blowing, all right, and our people are waking up, especially in these times, because we're at the end. Okay, so let's continue on with the article. More than 1,500 unaccompanied migrant children are currently in custody at the U.S. southern at the U.S. southern border with Mexico, with more than 5,000 held in temporary customs and border protection CBP facilities deemed unacceptable and inhumane. All right, now these are the conditions that they're keeping our kids, man. You know why? Because these devils hate our people. Okay, these devils hate our people, man. All right, they got our kids locked up, and that's another thing too. With the whole plight that the so-called Latinos go through. All right, you have situations where, you have so-called Hispanics that come over, so-called illegally, which is, just another wicked decree that this devil came out with, all right, to further oppress our people. Because if you really want to get technical, they came here first. All right, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans were here first, but here it is. This devil came, he waged genocide and war. All right, and then he put, all that was said and done. He put his countries over this land, and now he's deciding who gets to go in and who gets to go out. Even though the so-called Latinos and Native Americans are basically native, indigenous to this part of the world, man. But that's just this devil for you. Why? Because he has a perpetual hatred for our people. Okay, so it reads, all right, it was deemed unacceptable and inhumane, in the words of Texas Governor Greg Abbott. And another point I wanted to make too, all right, before I forget, a lot of these children come from families that come here and they get caught up by the authorities. All right, they have a whole department set up to catch so-called illegal aliens. All right, they got I believe it's called ICE. All right, I don't know what it stands for. It's an acronym. Okay, but it's real ice cold what they do. It's a omen, because what they do is they separate families, man. All right, they separate families. The mother and the father, they kick them down to Mexico, and because the children are too young to be processed, go through that process, they keep them in these detention camps. All right, that's what these devils do, man. Okay, they separate families, and then the children. All right, like I made a point earlier, which concerning one of the videos that I did about a year or two back. All right, of a case that came out. These children go through abuse, man. All right, like it is written right here. It's unacceptable and inhumane. This is where they're putting our kids in. All right, it's inhumane, and these devils are abusing our kids, man. All right, came out a couple years back. I'm gonna repeat it again. A dude, Edomite, he had AIDS, went up in there, started raping little Hispanic children. All right, little so-called Hispanic children, and started giving them AIDS, and he didn't even see jail time. Okay, he got a slap on, not even a slap on the wrist. He got probation. He got a warning. Okay, and it's not to be into, it's a word for it. All emotional. You know what I'm saying? It's not about sensationalism. It's about facts. All right, look what these devils are doing to our people. That's why these devils are gonna go. Okay, that's why these devils are gonna get took down, and that's why these devils are gonna reap double for what they have sowed unto us. All right, so it reads, border crossing almost tripled in February compared to 1 year earlier, and are on a track to hit a 2-decade high. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said last week, which that's another thing with the border, man. Like, I believe these detention facilities that they have our people in, a lot of them is like forerunners for the FEMA camps. It's just a thought, I'd like to throw out there, but I believe a lot of them is like forerunners to the FEMA camp. How they gonna have, people inside, how it's basically a testing or an experimental lab for these devils, because these devils are all about that, man. All right, they're all about conducting experiments on our people. Okay, and with this, what I just read with the border crossing almost tripling, all right, basically they're putting more and more people in the border, man. All right, they're putting more and more people in the U.S. and Mexico border. All right, why? Because, like brothers like to say, man, it's not about keeping people out. It's about keeping you Babylonians in. All right, when all hell breaks loose, they don't want you escaping they don't want you escaping Babylon. All right, it's gonna be a two-way. It's gonna be locked down, man. Okay, when all hell breaks loose, which we're starting to see the beginnings of it, with that ship in the Suez Canal. All right, it's really affecting the U.S. economy. And there was actually an article that I wanted to bring out, but for some reason it's not popping up on the actual website that I saw it in. But it's cool, man. I might find it through spirit. Might do a sit down on it tomorrow, Lord willing. It's all about the spirit, man. But anyways, let me see. Photos from inside one of these facilities in Donna, Texas reveal massive overcrowding inside makeshift tent shelters. All right, so they're basically, putting these kids on top of each other, man. Okay, massive overcrowding. Like, they're not they're just cramming a whole bunch of kids into one cage, you know, into a cage, man. All right, here it is. Like, let me see if I can get some images. All right, now this is Twitter. Now I'm gonna go back to the article. All right, but let me see if I could get back, so I cannot get back, but hop on some of these pictures just to provide some visuals. All right, but you can see this, man. This isn't humane, man. You got these children sleeping on the floor, concrete floors almost. You just got, like, okay, you got one that got a little padding. They're wrapped in what looks to be tinfoil blankets, man. You know what I'm saying? This isn't humane. All right, now this stuff is barely, they're barely shedding light on this, and it's a lot of so-called Hispanic channels. All right, I don't want to say channels, like on YouTube, which, you also got the news media that brings this out from time to time. All right, now this is starting to resurface, so they're bound to bring it out again. Okay, and not only that, but you also have, certain social media personalities, that pertain to Issachar, and, certain so-called Hispanics, so-called Latinos that are bringing this out as well. All right, the same way they've been bringing out with what's been happening to the street vendors. So we're seeing, some activity with the Northern tribe, starting to get roused up as well. All right, because Judah, he, what I'm saying, is cops, shooting down Jake in the streets, murdering Jake in the streets, and Judah gets roused up, man. It's riots, nationwide. All right, but when things happen to the so-called Latinos, they wanna stay quiet. They want to act like it's not their problem, which is something that I've been seeing, a lot. It's a reoccurring spirit that be on so-called Latinos. But now we're in a time to where everything is starting to bottle up, and it's to a time where it can't be, bottled up further. All right, so to speak. So you see these conditions that our people are in, man. Look, sleeping next to trash cans. All right, and these are floors, man. Okay, these are concrete, brick, stone floors. This is not comfortable, man. All right, like, this isn't comfortable. That little padding is not gonna give you comfort. And then you see, like, it looks to be like 2-3 kids sleeping in the same pad. Okay, this so-called white man, these Edomites are the devil, man. All right, they are the devil. Okay. And this really, vexes my spirit, because you have a lot of so-called Latinos that, they just don't care. I bring this out in camp from time to time. I remember I told this to a Issacharite one time, and this was years back. This was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. All right, but it was a while back, and that's how long this has been going on for. Okay. But I told this Issachar, like, yo, man, what do you think about our children in cages, man? Because I look like a so-called Latino, right? Even though I'm Southern Kingdom due to my, father's side, going back to the Italians. And y'all know who the Italians, all right, not all the Italians, but certain Italians go back to. But anyways, I asked this Issachar, like, yo, man, what do you think about our people in the cages, man? He's like, oh, man, it's fucked up, fool. All stupid, man. He had like a half smile on his face. He didn't really care. Okay, and a lot of you Jakes that feel this way, that you're in between, you don't feel no type of compassion, no type of sympathy for your own people, you're going to be destroyed, man. All right, because that's another thing too. Part of being in the truth is feeling sympathy for our people in certain things. All right, so to speak, man. Like, for lack of a better term, in certain in cases, there we go. In certain cases, you're gonna feel sympathy, man. All right, this should really, vex you. Not to the point where you're out here cussing, but this is like, dang, man, Esau's the devil, man. All right. They shoot down Jake in the middle of the street for no reason, the way they do it, and then they get away scot-free. But meanwhile, Jake is out here, he doing, it's not even about the victim or any type of, weird mentality. All right, but Jake, he commits a crime, okay? And they bury him under the jail, man. They bury him under the prisons, man. Our people are in the prisons. All right, they make up the majority of the prisons. Meanwhile, these devils are getting away with killing our people. Okay, with oppressing our people. All right, but they're not gonna get away at the end of the day, man. Okay, they're not gonna get away at the end of the day. Now let's go back to the article. All right, matter of fact, I think there was more on that. Maybe one more picture. All right, yeah, as you can see, they're kept in what looks to be plastic bubbles, cages, man. A little screen for TV, and that's all they get, man. And they got them wearing face masks because of this whole C-19. Yo, Esau's the devil, man. All right, Esau is the devil, man. This is vexing. Should get your blood boiling, man. But anyways, let's continue on with the article. All right, it reads: photos from the inside of one of these facilities in Donna, Texas, reveal massive overcrowding inside makeshift tent shelters. The picture shared with Axios on Sunday by Rep. Henry Cuellar, D. Texas. It's just their little titles, I suppose. Show these plastic-lined pods operating at double capacity with groups of children huddled between crude plastic sheet dividers. Okay, they don't even got rooms, man. They don't even got dorms. Like, at least in the prison, you got dorms, man. You got your own little cell, man. Where you got your little bed, you got a little toilet. This looks like everybody got to share the same toilet. This looks like you got to stand up, tell the guard, hey, I have to go to the bathroom, and he has to go and take you to the bathroom, which puts you at risk of being abused. Okay? See, that's the stuff that's the stuff that they sweep under the rug, man. All right, and you best believe these children are being abused, man, because they're under the supervision of this devil, man. Look at his track record. Okay, so let's continue on. So Reed's Border Patrol agents are doing the best that they can under the circumstances, Queller said, but described the temporary shelters as terrible conditions for the children. Okay, so hold on real quick, because this is basically, I'm not gonna get too much into these articles. All right, but hold on, let me just skim through it real quick, because I'm about to just hit the scriptures. All right, now there's another picture right here, because it's not not to make the lesson super long. You already got the idea, man. Look, man. Yo, man, look how they got your kids, man. You so-called Latinos. All right, look how they got our kids, and some of them even got the blanket on. And yo, Esau's the devil, man. All right, they really giving them these little thin tinfoil blankets. You see, this is demonic. But he's gonna pay for this, man. All right, and he has but a short time. Okay, these devils have but a short time, and they're gonna pay for this, man. You're gonna be no, righteous Edomite that's gonna be saved. All you devils are gonna go into slavery, man. You're gonna be destroyed. All right. Another thing too. Let's just read this little paragraph real quick. All right, and it reads: throughout his campaign, Biden promised a fair and humane border policy, and his administration insists that its host of recently opened overflow facilities are a world away from cages former President Donald Trump kept unaccompanied minors in. So yeah, they've been doing this with Trump as well, man. Don't buy into the political hype, because ultimately the people that's buying into that are gonna participate in the civil war. Okay, but I have to report on it because that's prophecy as well. All right, that civil war. But anyways, although Mayorkas has described CBP facilities as no place for a child, he insisted last week that federal agents would safely receive, shelter, and transfer them into more suitable long-term accommodations. So now they just gonna be moving them around, man, which is gonna further complicate everything. Instead of building humane spots at that particular area, because that's also, where they're probably processing the parents as well. They're gonna be moved around and make things more complicated, man. And and that's another thing too, dealing with these federal agents, these Edomites in high places, man. The higher up you go the higher up the ladder you go with these devils, the more perverse and sicker they get, man. All right, the more perverse and sicker they get. Okay. So let me see real quick. So I'm going to read this quick little sentence right here, all right, to further cement the point that these devils do not want you to find out about this. All right, now it's barely being, brought out, in the airwaves and, through the spirit, in a few days. We might see what the result of this might be. Ephraim might start going out there protesting. Who knows what's going to happen, man. But it reads, until now, no public photos from the inside these facilities have been shared. Journalists have been kept out, and CBP agents have reportedly been forbidden by an unofficial gag order from speaking to the media, which goes to show you, man, if they ain't trying to let journalists and people in to, record the event, it's something that's, they're obviously doing something wrong in there, man. That raises suspicions, man. Like, well, what are y'all doing with them kids up in there that you don't want them journalists and them peoples to see, man? It's already came out that it's a dude that, came in and raped and he got HIV, gave HIV to the children, man. A while back, a couple years ago, But let me see. That's basically it on this article when I hit the scriptures. All right, and let me see, Isaiah 42:22. It's a good one, but I'm gonna start at the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, to further, prove. You know what I'm saying? Well, not necessarily further prove. But just basically add on and further substantiate that the so-called Latinos and Native Americans are children of Israel, man, because they going through their struggles as well. All right, and that's that's basically a message, that's basically directed towards Hebrew Israelites like Fopi and them, who say that the so-called Latinos and Native Americans are not Hebrew Israelites, man. Straight wickedness. All right, so the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 in Salakia. Hold on. Where that? There we go. All right, Salakia. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. And it reads, and Yahweh Shema Shai shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Okay? So a nation whose tongue we will not understand. And these devils came. All right, and the key point is, as swift as the eagle flieth. All right, what's this devil's symbol? The eagle. All right, it has been for many of his kingdoms that he has, from the ancient times to modern day. All right, to his modern day countries and that he has set up, man. So that's the key point. It's talking about these so-called Edomites. All right, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, dealing because, when they came over here, man, Yad was speaking the Hebrew, Latin tribes are speaking the Hebrew. A certain, it's a word for it, man, but they're speaking the type of Hebrew, so-called black people in the western part of Africa, they're speaking a form of Hebrew, a dialect. There we go. That's the word I meant to say. All right. And it reads, of a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. And that's what we see here. Okay, let me see. Oh, I deleted the pages, but that's what we're seeing here, man. All right, look at all this. Like, look at all these kids, you know, wrapped in tinfoil blankets, sleeping on the floor. And they're supposed to be there. I just skimmed through it. They're supposed to be there for what, 3 days, all right, which is painful enough. But they're keeping them there for 136 hours, which is like close to a week, man. All right, 4 days. No, that's not 5 days. Yeah, that's like close. That's close to like a week, man. Probably over a week. Holding them there. You know what I'm saying, and just not showing favor to them, man. That's these devils for you, man. All right. So let me see. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter. Dang, I forgot the chapter. Salaki. Let me just look it up real quick for the sake of time. Prison, houses. Really, man? Now you don't want to pop up. You popped up earlier. Now you don't want to pop up. Salakia, hid. Let's do it like this. In prison. See, that's shaitan, man. Like, how is the scripture popping up and now it doesn't want to pop up, man? Or maybe it's the app that's messing up. Hold on. Hid in prison. There we go. Okay, so it was Isaiah 48:2. Now I had to just make sure. All right, so the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. All right, now so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we've been robbed and spoiled, man. All right, so-called black people were taken from Western Africa, the western shores of Africa, the west coast of Africa. All right, brought over here as on slave ships. Okay. And you had the so-called Latinos and Native Americans that were dwelling in this land, you know what I'm saying, for a good while when they fled Assyria. Okay. This devil came and he spoiled them. He robbed them, he sacked them, he waged genocide against them, enslaved them as well. All right, it was said that they were stealing so much gold from the so-called Latinos in Puerto Rico, South America, Mexico, that their ships were sinking in the Atlantic Ocean due to the weight of the gold. That's how much gold they were stealing from our people. All right, and it reads, they are all of them snared in holes. All right, which represents this captivity, man. It represents that there's really no escaping these curses. All right, you know what I'm saying? Whether even if you leave the ghetto, which the majority of our people, we're from the ghettos, we're from the barrios. But guess what? Even if you leave, even if you get some financial, I don't even want to get into the technical words. Even if you get yourself some money and leave the hood, right? The curses are still gonna be upon you, man. Your wife is still gonna be a harlot in the city. The job you work, that you went to college, guess what? It's going to be a glass ceiling. They're not going to promote you. You're going to be working for decades on an entry-level position, chasing that bone, and they're not going to give you no promotions, man. All right? You're going to, your pockets are going to have holes in them. You're not going to escape the curses of Deuteronomy 28. All right. And the reason they are hid in prison houses. And this is a manifestation of that scripture. All right. This is an example of that. Nationwide, the majority of the prisons and the jails is filled with who? So-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. All right. And guess what? Now you see in children, being locked up and kept in certain predicaments, man, in certain conditions that's similar, so like it being kept in similar conditions. All right. This is why this devil must be thrown down to the pits, man. Okay. And ultimately, this is judgment from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's why even though it makes our blood boil, it vexes us. We're not going to, go out here and get carnal, because at the end of the day, we understand that this is judgment from on high, man. Why? Because you so-called Latinos got to get yourselves right. You got to repent, and not all of you are going to repent. Only the elect are going to repent. All right. That's why the elect are probably in the world, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans that are of the elect. They're probably in the world looking at this like, man, you know what I'm saying? And the Lord is guiding them into the truth, man. All right. The Lord is making his moves, man. Okay. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is making his moves. All right. On a grand scale. From the microscopic to the grand, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has his hands in all things, and he's about to wrap this place up. All right. And it reads, they are for a prey and none delivereth. All right. Because you don't see no army coming in to deliver the kids. You don't see no UN councils being held because of the situations here. It's been going on for years. All right. And also, too, so-called black people as well, man. With everything they've been through. No UN councils being held. All these agendas being pushed on our people. All this wickedness being pushed on our people. No councils. Nobody's saying, hey, you guys are Israelites. No. They want to keep us blind. They want to keep us destroyed perpetually. That's why all these nations, are going to, they shall have their reward in captivity, man. All right. So it reads, they are for a prey and none delivereth, for a spoil and none saith restore. Okay. Which is, basically the point that I made, just right now. None of them said, hey, let's bring them back to their land. None of them say, hey, you guys are the real children of Israel. We're going to bring you back to your lands. You guys got to worship, your power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and keep the Lash's commandments. Nah, they want to keep us here. They want to keep you in the hood. Keep you in the barrios, in the favelas, the shanty towns. That's what they want. That's what they want to do, so they could continually rule over us. All right? But all that's about to come to an end, man. All right, it reads, verse 23, who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, he against whom we have sinned? Okay, and that's the point I made earlier, as a spirit, because the so-called, especially with this example right here with the so-called Hispanic children being in these cages and being kept in these conditions. All right, the Latinos, so-called Latinos, are very, very big on idolatry. All right, so, hey, our judgments that we go through, we have brought upon ourselves. All right, but guess what? This devil's going to receive a reward for what he's doing to us. All right, scriptures talk about, he that touches you, referring to us, the children of Israel, touches the apple of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's eye. So you devils got a lot to pay for, man. All right, it reads, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. Okay, and that's what we're seeing. It's a lot of wickedness going on with these so-called Latinos, man. A lot of witchcraft. Hey, look at the cartels, man. That's pharmakia at a big time. At almost a corporate level, man. It's like these Ephraimites is trying to catch up to Esau with the pharmakia, like almost to a corporate level, man. To where they taking over cities, to where the police in cities they don't work for the government. They work for these witches and warlocks and sorcerers, man. All right, you got the Catholic Church that's very big in Latin America. My mom's once told a story, a certain higher up of the Catholic Church went to visit, our country, that we came from, which is Peru. All right, and I don't know if he was the archbishop or the actual pope, All right, but she described the scenery, how all manner of jakes, now these would be Israelites of the tribe of Asher, all right, considering the geographical location of Peru, all right. Now you might have had, Naphtali in there, different tribes that's in the area in there, but she told me the scenery, how they were bowing down to this man, how they were crying and they were acting like he was one of the apostles, damn near. And you know how Jay got for the apostles back then, and it's not about worshiping the apostles. It's about, well, I don't want to say worship, idolizing the apostles. It's about their faith back then. All right. But they acting like this Pope is going to heal them of their infirmities, man. Like they're just going to touch the bulletproof glass, which, it's just off, man. Which that's the thing too. He using this bulletproof capsule. But this is some type of saint. This is, you know what I'm saying? You don't even have faith to walk down the town without this type of security and protection. But this is somebody that's gonna, bless you and give you a blessing, And this is the wickedness that our people are in, that you so-called Latinos are in. And Adawan Rataza Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai puts the microscope on you. In the sense where brothers just start, you put the spirit to where brothers start really getting on you so-called Latinos. And it's not in a hateful way, but in an edifying way to call you back into remembrance. Because you're going to have the elect that's out there. It's going to come across a video, and all you need is a quick little, I wouldn't say like a physical, brothers, they'll start saying I'm getting carnal or whatever, but like a spiritual slap on the face, man. That's really what a lot of Jakes need, man. Like, look at our predicament, man. Everything ain't good. We got our kids in cages, man. Everything ain't good. So it reads, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. All right. So it's a lot of spiritual wickedness going on with Ephraim. A lot of fleshly, carnal wickedness going on as well. Verse 25, therefore he hath poured upon him the anger of his, so like the fury of his anger, and the strength of battle. And they hath set him on fire round about, yet he knew not, and it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart. All right, because these Jakes is out here, they think everything is good, man. And all these 2/3 that think everything is good, they gonna be caught as a thief in the night, man. Yahweh Shemel Shai shall visit them as a thief in the night. All right. And that's ultimately it, man. It's to wrap up the lesson. You tribes, man. You so-called Latinos better wake up, man, because this devil hates you too, man. Just because you a few shades lighter than the so-called black man. All right. That doesn't mean that this devil is going to give you a pass, man. Y'all getting your wake-up call too. So with that, I'm going to say, call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah Ba'ashim Rachakodash. Forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Shalom.